What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to this week's new episode of X Vlog Live. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL, and as you can see, still smiling from what went down on Sunday. Xbox is back. They have taken the lead. They have more games coming out than any other platform. And what else is better than a new old Gears of War? This is going to be something special. I absolutely cannot wait to get into it. Now, normally, as you know from X Vlog Live, it's usually me and C Money, my co-host, but being that it is what it is, we have a ton of people here. But C, what's going on, brother? How's everybody at home? Good to have you back. We didn't podcast last week because I was flying out to LA, but it's great to have you back in the seat. What's going on, dude?
Oh, man. Glad to be here, man. Glad to be an Xbox fan.
Indeed.
What a blessing. Could you imagine having woke up on the other side of the bed on Sunday, you know what I'm saying, and be like, why did this happen to me? Why did I invest all my life on this side that would ultimately just get out of the game? They don't even want to compete anymore. This is crazy. God, what a beautiful thing, man. What a beautiful
Are you talking about Blue Team, bro? Like, are you
is it blue? Like, I don't even know what, do they have a color? Like, do they identify as anything anymore? Like, we don't know at this point. Honestly, they're MIA, right? People are looking for them. We don't know. I heard they're over at Switch, right? Maybe we check over Nintendo. Maybe that's where we got to just look, right? Because I think they're just listed as a publisher now, right? Like, that's their thing, right? They're publishing for Nintendo. Got it. Yeah. This looks great times. They're gonna make a lot of money at least, finally.
Right? They are gonna make some bucks. Yeah, you know what's interesting? The first party game known as Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Guess what? The Vault Edition, #1 on PlayStation. Well, there's that. #1 and actually number 10 for the regular cross-gender edition. So both bookends. I guess Call of Duty in Game Pass isn't so much hurting because people are still buying on PlayStation. Pretty interesting stuff there, but. King David, my brother, I got to hang out with him for almost a week. We got a chance to, rub elbows with some of the biggest, latest, and greatest of Xbox. How you feeling there, brother?
I'm feeling a whole lot better now, since Agent Zero got us all sick.
Agent Zero. He wouldn't happen to be from the UK, would he?
I'm not.
I'm not at liberty to discuss who the person is.
I can't confirm or deny that information, sir. I will keep that under wraps. But yeah,
UK man's getting cooked, yeah.
Yeah, he came with a little UK swag.
Hey,
gave us a little bit of drip. But no, was fantastic right now. And yeah, they are MIA, but we always knew that was exactly what was going to happen. I told dudes, if anybody was listening, what was going to transpire, the goalpost shifting and moving. It was going to try to co-opt the show like they're doing now. And it's cool because they keep saying like, all right, but those games is coming over. When? Like, and this is when I said it, window. You'll be looking in a window at us playing games, and whenever it's up on it, like, right? Why? The same day we get Final Fantasy VII. Hello. But listen, Nintendo got you by the cojones, and like my man Cuphead says. Always you keep your cup halfway full. Ain't that right, Mario? Yeah.
It's me.
Oh my God.
This is going to be a messy show, ladies and gentlemen. Get ready for a lot of laughs, a lot of poking fun. Listen, there is no bigger. Well, actually, it's. I can't say that because we have two Gears heads today that represent the brand bigger than life itself. Shadows, my brother, welcome back. You put out a video that you got super emotional. It was great to watch. And you know something? You weren't the only one. I put out a video that's closing in on 22K, and some of the messages that I got for covering it, grown man were like, straight up, boom. I was crying when I seen Dom. And you know what? A tear came to my eye as well. That is legacy IP in front of us. And you know what? We're going back to where it started.
Yo,
We're
Mark
gonna get the
Sedon
horror
coming back,
elements.
bro.
Yeah, bro.
Hey.
How you feeling, Shadows? Welcome, man.
I feel amazing, man. It's you know, we've been in cryo for about 5-6 years with Gears of War. You know, it's been a long time coming, man. I knew this was the year. You know, we at least get an announcement. Obviously, there was a lot of rumors going into the showcase with Gears 6 talk, Gears Collection talk, and then nobody predicted it. Gears of War E-Day. Hey, yo, we going back to the origins, man. We got Locust Horde coming out the ground, killing everybody. It's I can't wait, man. I'm so hyped, man. Yeah, I got a massive, engagement on the reaction video. You know, so many nice, positive comments. A lot of love. As you say, you know, people saying that like they cried or they were close to crying watching the trailer, and then they came over to my YouTube, watched my reaction, and then me crying made them crying. You know, there's a lot of love on the comment section, man. It still feels quite surreal. You know, like it doesn't really feel like it's actually happening, but it's here, man. Like I'm just like a meerkat, man. Every time I look at the trailer, you know, I'm editing the next video, whatever. We did the full breakdown of the Gears of War E-Day trailer already. Checking out all of the story lore bits, all of the Easter eggs, the little references, and honestly, man, Gears of War E-Day probably has the potential to possibly be like the Avengers, but for Gears of War. You know, you could have cameos everywhere, man. So I'm ready.
Yeah, I think what is going to be the crux of this Crispy Bomb is the return to a mature, dark horror theme, which we've all been looking for. This is a return to where it started. We've all read about it. I know a lot of us have read the books. I've read some of them. We've never experienced E-Day. I think really at the point of this is how this team gets together, the bond between Marcus and Dom. When we get Coltrane, I want to see the team form. I want to see how they got to where they were. Now, granted, we know what's going to happen in the future, but that does not diminish how important this game is. Crispy, this is going to be potentially a launch game for the new Xbox in 2026. And I say that with confidence because it just so happens that in 2026 would be the 20th anniversary of Gears of War. And boy, oh boy, it's looking like we might actually launch a new console with the Trinity. You might get Forza Horizon, which would be 6. You would get a new Halo potentially and a new Gears. Dude, I think they're setting up the future so ridiculous that I think King is right. There may not be a PS6.
Oh man, I'm not gonna get into that messy part. I want to say, man, because I mean, honestly, like, dude, the stands are hurting. I got some that are arguing with me about Gears. Like, just don't, dude. Like, if you're that angry, just go sit down and take a breath because you're arguing. There's a couple of them that are arguing about everything, dude. And I'm just like, come on, man. So with that said, Shadows, bro, you have held it down. You have held the line for Gears for a very long time.
Hold the line for Gears of War, man.
But seriously, like when I watch your reaction, dude, and that's those genuine comments, man. Like many of us have known you or played with you. You're such a genuine, just hype, gassed up individual that always has a good stream. I've watched him. I've been a part of him. You know what I mean? In a way. And it's just, just salute to you, bro. And those tears were real because this man has freaking been through the ringer with Gears because, we just never knew what direction they're going. And to go this direction is the best direction. I love you, Boom. But when everybody, and there's a lot of other people that like the open world, I hated it. Okay, I hated it. I liked the little nuances, but I hated how long it took to get to those little nuances. You needed to eliminate that. You needed to eliminate that. And to go all the way back to the grit of E-Day, oh, man. And we're going to get into it, obviously, towards the end. But, dude, like, it's going to be crazy. I think it's going to surprise people how scary that situation is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the tight quarters, the back to, you going in dark alleys. You know what? Listen, I enjoyed both versions of it. I enjoyed the open world. I'm not going to front. I really enjoyed Gears 5 for what it was, but I have no problem going back and it being this tight, corner-based combat that we learned to play and enjoy in Gears 1, 2, and 3. But listen, I want to open up with the showcase, and I'm going to start with C Money. Obviously, he's my co-host here. C Money, this showcase not only broke records for views, but I think the hype level, even if you are not an Xbox dude or dudette, is through the roof. Like it seemed like everybody was talking about this. We saw what happened when Keeley put out the the polls, as he always does for these shows. And obviously Summer Games Fest was not really that great. It was mid. It was about a 7.5. I happily gave it a 7.5. And when you look at the rating, it was a D. If you look at what happened with State of Play or State of Disappointment, it was a D. Obviously, the one that came out on top was the Xbox Showcase. 17 first-party games. I don't think there has ever been a show that had this many first-party, and these weren't like AA or single A game. These were bangers, bro. Let's get your hot take on this, man.
I mean, listen, I said it on our show. This was the best gaming showcase that has ever existed. This was amazing, beyond amazing. Like you could literally, we got like 30 games or so that were shown.
It was 30 games shown.
If
in
you
total.
stripped it all and just let first party rock, it still would have been the best show that there is. But what Xbox sold you is that, see, we got the bag over here, right? So we don't need to be selective. We don't have to say, well, if we're giving you first party games, that means we can't give you third party day and date in Game Pass. But they said, F all that noise. Not only are we hitting you with the bangers, but we about to show you bangers that are third party that you guys are gonna play day one in Game Pass. Like, yo, the slaps that Phil, I could just imagine every time a new trailer went up, it's just such a slap to a new pony that Phil personally gave. You know what I'm saying? Like he just walked up to somebody, Thoma, you know what I'm saying? Like that's just the way it was. It was so beautiful. I loved it. Oh my God. Yo, you know what's also what I loved? It's so glorious that they did this. Tell me my man Phil said, oh, okay, Wukong, you with your monkey myth, right? You're gonna skip Xbox day one, no doubt. We got Wu Chong for your ass. Fucking dope ass looking game. Yo, amazing looking game. Not only did Wu Chong slap up Wukong, but it also slapped up Stellar Blade at the same time. That shit was like you got an elbow on one and like an uppercut to the other. This was glorious. And where do we get it? See, this is what I know. Wukong, yeah, it's gonna come out on PlayStation, but those ponies gonna have to pay what?
Probably
They're gonna have to pay a hot
70,
right? They're gonna have to pay a hot 70 to play with Monkey Man, right? We got Wu Chong. We get to play with Stellar Blade and Monkey Man tied together in the same spot. And you know what that's gonna cost us? A hot nothing. You know what I'm saying? A hot nothing. It's coming day one in our game. Come on, man. Don't even fuck out of here with this shit. Sorry, I had to throw it in there because I couldn't. Man, dude, this was like, you think about what they showed us. When you take the fact that they literally only showed us 2 games that, number one, were rumored, so we kind of had a inkling and a hope, right? But that was Gears and Doom, right? Doom and Gears. Those were the only 2 games they showed us out of first party that we didn't already have announced. Think about that for a second. We did not remember when we talked about, man, we have all these games that are already announced, and we have so many more that haven't revealed what they're doing. They still didn't reveal what they're doing. Like, we got so much shit that came, and it was only Gears and the other one, Doom, that we did not have already announced. Yo, we had so many bangers because everything they showed us, every other game that we were waiting to see, that all the ponies were making fun of us. Oh, where's your games? Where's your games? What happened to 2018? Oh, you bought all these games. Well, I mean, man, we had a teaser. We showed you guys what was coming. Oh, no, that's not enough. Okay, well, guess what? They slapped them up with gameplay for everything, fam.
Yeah.
Everything. Come on, man. Come on. this is
Yeah.
crazy. You know what I'm saying? We're in a whole different league now. We're in a whole different stratosphere. Like, honestly, like, we're in our show, man, we don't even, like, they're beneath us. I'm sorry. This is the way I look at them, right? I'm looking down. I'm all the way up here. I'm like, damn.
Starts now.
Ponies, what do you got, dog? Like, I feel like I'm up in a plane and I'm just going over their field. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just looking over their field. They're running around. You know what I'm saying? They got loose out of the stable because they got nothing else to do now.
The green paint, yeah.
That's it. And we're just watching them. I'm just like, damn, sucks to be you. You know what I'm saying? Sucks to be you. You know why? Because there's no level. They don't, even when they were at their highest, even at their peak, they never had the amount of content, never, out of first party that we're getting. We're in a whole different stratosphere. They don't compete with us.
I don't think anyone can compete, to be quite honest.
Not at all.
Listen, the show was a banger of a show. I think it did shut down a lot of narratives. We kind of knew what was coming. Blue Team does not have a lot on their plate, and we know that. And King, I want to bring you in because, did you see the report from Jason Schreier, who a lot of people consider to be tip of the spear when it comes to journalism? Well, it turns out that according to Jason Schreier's new report, which I do have, Sony does not have a lot cooking because of how they transitioned from first party over the shoulder games.
We've all been saying this,
gas
bro.
games, and now they had to switch from gas games back into first party games that were over the shoulder. And now we know that they just don't have a lot cooking. And we look at what Xbox is doing. I got news for you, brother. It does not look good, King David. What are your thoughts of what I just talked about? But more importantly, the showcase itself.
Well, shout out to Jason Schreier when I saw him at the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Were you there when I saw him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you were there. You saw what I did, right? Yeah, scared his soul out of his body.
He's a little man. He's a very little man, and you are very.
I don't know.
Jason, you were handling his little man, King. Is that what we're talking about here,
bro? Y'all gonna stop? But anyway, I don't know what little man that no, Boom saw, but anyway, I saw Jason, and I went over there to say what's up. Because I mess with him. A lot of his viewpoints are kind of my viewpoints, and because it's basically on the industry, and I do like the fact that he does investigative journalism. And also you will have inherent biases when it comes to that, regardless to when it comes to stuff that you love. So, be it with a grain of salt. Some people can like him, some people can hate him. I appreciate the fact that he does get down to the dirty when it has to be to get the information and bring that back to us. So a lot of information comes out, and a lot of times we find out the games or services, like I've told people before, and the information that I did get, but he does it at a professional level. They weren't ready. They weren't willing to put the commitment forward. Sony doesn't have the gumption, the fortitude, or wherewithal, financial wherewithal, to sustain anything close to loss. That is dictated by their financials. A lot of people like to talk financials, but don't look at financials and don't know how to read financials. It's very easy to parrot something that you see, people that you hear, talk about financial numbers and shipped and stuff like that. There's many different things and factors that go into that. So when you are trying to build a portfolio with EFTs and all this other stuff, you're looking at the financial viability of a company. And you have to find out where they make their money. That's where you're going to invest, right? So if I'm going to put money in your pocket, I need to know where you're getting money from besides the money that I'm giving you. Their bottom line when it comes to PlayStation was at cost. That's why you have no games this year. It has absolutely nothing to do with a pivot to a games of service, because they did have games ready. Factions was ready. Same as well as Helldivers. The thing with Factions versus Helldivers, Factions, they had a larger substantial financial stake opposed to Helldivers. Helldivers, when they purchased in, was damn near complete. So they had probably like 4 months to 5 months left of financially getting that there, and then the cost of getting it out. That's it. But Factions was ground up, them, liability, them, everything, them. That's why it died. All right. So to answer a couple of questions on why stuff isn't out, and if you're going to read stuff, please read between the lines and understand a lot of things that he does say. They don't have operating costs. There's no games coming out. The games that you do see coming out, like the demo, that Astrobot, the lost tapes, the mixtapes, they're giving you regurgitated content from stuff that was either scrapped on levels that wasn't put together, because I'm pretty sure that Astrobot was a really good game that could have launched with the PlayStation 5 if they let it cook. They gave you a tech demo, and then they gave you a game for the PlayStation VR 2. And then they're doubling down now on building on something that they thought that you guys liked. You have to look at what's going on. This is the state of two companies. You have a company that's in flux and a company that's at full tilt. Microsoft took the hit. Xbox took the hit. When Phil had to fall back and they didn't have games for a couple of years, they were looked at as weak. Their strategy isn't working. Game Pass can't be sustainable. And at the same time, you're getting day one games from third-party developers that's going inside Game Pass talking about record sales, record engagement, and record numbers. At the same time, you're seeing consoles not shifting, and you're expecting Microsoft to fall back. But then the ABK deal goes through, the ZeniMax stuff is starting to come to fruition, and you're looking at the financials, and Microsoft Xbox jumps Windows. Once Xbox jumps Windows, it's a different ball game now. Now, daddy has to look over at his kid that's playing pee-wee football and has to buy him really good equipment. Things got to change. If you was at the show, you understood, and Boom saw it. You saw the difference from when we went to Game Fest. The difference in opulence, the difference in money, the difference in venue, the difference in security, the difference in everything. Money's here. Seems like you're getting by over here, right? Not saying anything wrong, because I had never put together a show. I'm not saying anything like that, but you can see the difference when you're there. This is Microsoft's money on deck. They understand what is very important. This is the first time, and I want y'all to take a very deep look at the difference when Microsoft has taken a real vested interest in Xbox being number one in the gaming space. They are vested now. This is why this show is like this. Get used to this. This is the reason why I told you guys, no longer can you look at the Sony dudes as peers. They're your son doulas now. These are your children, because they are begging for games to come over. They watch that show, and everything now is, can I please? Is it gonna happen? Please, sir. I'm hungry. You will get old games. You will get Castaways. You'll be happy if Redfall falls on your plate, because I'm pretty sure that's better than Astrobot, and that may be controversial. But I'm pretty sure some grown man someplace that has a PlayStation 5 saw Astrobot and said, give me Redfall, please. And I personally will challenge Microsoft to put out Redfall on the PlayStation 5 platform day and date when Astrobot shifts, and let me know who wins. Because I think there's many of you PlayStation dudes that was sick to your stomach when you saw that, and then you saw the rhetoric that's going along with it. Then you saw the Lego, and they're pushing you into the kiddie pool. You are no longer allowed to swim with the big fish. You are now regulated to the pond area.
Are you saying that Xbox dudes are at the table eating good and PlayStation dudes are at the kids' table, bro? Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is, You
That's what it
watched
looks
the
like.
show. What did you hear day one in their service? Nothing. Mismanagement, bad branding. But
Mhm.
when you went to watch the Xbox show,
Play it
everything
in Game
ended
Pass,
with
day and date.
play it in Game Pass, day and date.
Yep.
Call of Duty, don't forget, is inside Game Pass. I want to know how many of you broke boys, that's why I'm wearing blue, would have broken you. You get it? Broken you. I'm just saying,
Oh my God.
I want you dudes to come on over. The water's fine. We'll let you in and we'll treat you like a VIP. You get to hang out with me, the guy wearing blue, like you, the broken you. Understand, I told you the beatings will get more severe. And I follow the money. I follow the greed. This is only the beginning. And I was so happy I got a chance to experience that with Mr. Boomstick himself.
Indeed, that was great, brother.
And
Awesome.
it was insane to hear everybody try to dismiss this show, knowing that in gaming history, this has to be, if not number one, top 3
Yeah.
gaming show of all time.
Yeah. I absolutely agree. I think you're onto something with a lot of your points. I'll say this for anyone that wasn't there in the room. The electricity that was flowing through every person that had their ass planted in a seat. It was people jumping out of seats every time they made an announcement. It was just electrifying. Now, Crispy, I want to go to you, and then I'm going to go to, of course, Shadows, because what we're going to do is we're going to talk about it, and then we're going to go right back to you both because you are our Gears heads. We got to get boots on the ground opinions of what happened with Gears, because I think this is the return.
Something about Gears.
Please,
really quickly.
Yeah.
3 games. Then Marcus in jail. Remaster. I don't think you get close quarters. I think you still have open world aspects of it. I don't think they have any set format that they have to worry about, but horror features throughout. The game looks phenomenal. And yeah, Mad World.
Yep. And a certain community member / journalist got ratioed, but we're not going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about that tomorrow because a lot of controversy coming out of it just being a CG trailer, which we know now that it was not. But Crispy Bomb, let's talk showcase. This was by far, I honestly, I don't think any of us here, we have over 700 live viewers right now. I don't know if any of us could have predicted they were going to show 17 first-party games. I don't think any of us could have guessed that number. It is probably the largest amount of first-party games at any one show at any one time. And you know, the truth of the matter is, even the lowest denomination one, let's say, for instance, that Sea of Thieves doesn't matter to you, showed well, right? ESO
Everything
showed
Everything
well. I mean, it was banger after banger after banger, all in Game Pass. Let's talk about it.
Man, and you know, just to go back to our prediction show, what did I say? You got caught on there. It's front and center. Go all out. Go graphical heavy. Go tone heavy. Just go for it. And they nailed it. They nailed the tone. You start off with Doom. I mean, that just really, I saw people, I've watched so many reaction. People were like, oh, heck yeah, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like, it brings back that nostalgia, but it felt new when he pulled out and he revved that chainsaw shield. You're just like, are you trying to be Marcus real quick? Like, what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? So like, and the one thing I loved is you just saw Xbox Game Pass PC. Everything. If it was a multiplat, it didn't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't, Xbox Game Pass, PlayStation, or whatever it may be. No, because they've said PS on previous shows at times. You know what I'm saying? Like, so thank you. Thank you for not giving them anything. Like you want to just question what you're getting or not. That's fine. I mean, the water's fine over here. Like King said, you know, Game Pass, once you get it, you're going to stop complaining about it. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. You can go and buy the games if you want. We have options here, people. Okay. You want to sub to the service, you sub to the service. If you don't want to, go buy the games. Okay. Like, it's just whatever you want to do. But I mean, if you want to play some of these, I mean, even that little mouse game, it was cute as hell. You know what I'm saying? Like, and yeah, they threw that in there. And you didn't see anybody complain about it. You know why? Because there is so much damn good stuff. And when you got a show, when you got Doom, Fable, Perfect Dark, and Gears, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
And they really look at how many are probably going to be only single player. Really look at that. So now where are you going to get the single player games from, guys? What's up? You know what I'm saying?
You're getting them from Xbox, dude.
You know what
Game
I'm
Pass,
saying?
baby.
Like
Game Pass, baby.
You know, like even
Right.
even the way they presented Assassin's Creed, dude. I'm interested now. I haven't been interested in Assassin's Creed in years. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that was like, I was like, wow, this game actually looks really freaking good, dude. And that's what I say. Like, they treated their partners right when they showed up. And it felt like a lot of the partners treated them like, hey, yeah, we're going into Game Pass, or hey, yeah, you know, we don't need to have any of that on there. We're good. You know what I'm saying? So I just thought it was a masterclass. Like, tell me Phil don't know what the dude he's doing. He knows they're cooking. It's time to show. And then when I find out later that Avowed's got a third-person toggle, oh my God. I was like, thank you. You know what I mean? So they're doing things. They listen. I don't care what you stands want to say. They do listen to us. And they clearly listened to us when it came to Gears. Clearly.
Listen,
Thanks.
it's again TTS all the way through. The Game Pass was at the crux of the conversation, as you can see on the screen right in front of you. Play it day one with Game Pass. Almost after every freaking game that was either first party or they had to deal with. Shadows, I want to bring you in because listen, we're going to get to you next with Gears, but we got to talk about the showcase because tone matters, and the tone of this show. For me, and I know a lot of people here are going to agree, and I want to know if you agree, I got the 360 feels. Like, through the 360 was in its heyday. It was the dude bro shooter. It was the place where everyone converged to play games. Listen, the PS3 had some great titles, but let's call a spade a spade. The PS3 rode the coattails of the Xbox 360 for the entire generation and only beat them when the 360 moved to the Xbox One and they were still making and selling PS3 Slims. That's how they were able to catch up. Truth of the matter is as this show, its tone was dark. It was adult. It was a throwback to what we all remember Xbox being great for. Let's talk about this showcase, dude.
Yeah, so yeah, for me, I feel like this is probably the best Xbox game showcase ever for me personally. Obviously, Gears of War E-Day is a big part of that, but yeah, as you say, it kind of felt like that 360 magic, you know. It kind of felt like Xbox is saying, "Hey, we here and we back and we cooking and we eating and we're ready to go," you know. Obviously, with the fact that, as you say, like this is the first time we get to see Call of Duty on a Xbox stage for so many years.
Yep, 10 years, 10 years, dude.
Yeah, crazy. And you kind of felt that like 360 magic because obviously like Call of Duty was such a big part of the Xbox 360 generation. Like I remember when I was a kid playing Gears 1 and 2 in middle and high school, and nobody else really was interested in Gears of War, and everyone else was obviously playing in the UK schools, Call of Duty and FIFA, and everybody was gaming on Xbox simply for the fact that Call of Duty just merely had the map packs launched 30 days early first on Xbox before it went to PlayStation. And that was enough for everybody to in school be like, everyone's got an Xbox 360, like nobody really had a PS3 now, like here in the UK anyway. So obviously with the fact that Call of Duty is coming back, I think with such a strong title, and obviously the Black Ops series with a new Black Ops game, I think it's had like 4 years of development. It's going to be dropping on Game Pass day one, console, PC. PlayStation man's going to eat it up for 70. Like I think it's going to be an absolute madness. And I feel like a lot of people probably underestimate that, maybe you might not think that, hey, like Call of Duty, obviously going into Game Pass might not move. But I feel like, especially for obviously, families and like the younger generations and like kids and stuff like that, it's obviously going to be such a more valuable approach to get Call of Duty, especially if they're obviously already on Xbox. But maybe even obviously going into, because obviously this is just the start, right? Like this is the first Call of Duty. What about the next one? Yo, that's dropping on Game Pass day. But what about the next one after that? Yo, that's in Game Pass day one as well, right? And so obviously, as gamers everywhere kind of get used to that idea concept that like, hey, Call of Duty is now Xbox. This is the shooter box, bro. We got COD, we got Gears of War. I'm sure Halo. We was obviously only missing Halo from the event for how that triple trifecta, but maybe Halo make another showing in the future. But for right now, combination of Call of Duty and Gears, I think it's just gonna go crazy later this year, man.
Yeah, I agree. I think that when you start to see what they are lining up, like we have what we have in front of us. We got a glimpse into the future. We know what 2024 looks like. We already have a banging roadmap for 2025. But if you want to just take a look around the corner, let's just say for shits and giggles, you're a 3-year dude. You need to be shown the path from present to 2 years in the future. Well, they did that because if all of the cards that have been put in front of us come to fruition, launch day 2026, which will be the next box, the next Xbox, you could potentially, you're going to get a Call of Duty because we know that's coming. You're going to get Gears because that's the 20th anniversary. You could get Forza Horizon 6 in Japan, and you might actually get a new Halo game running in Unreal Engine 5. Just think about that. And on top of that, we still might also in the same freaking year or even at launch get an Elder Scrolls. Like it is bonkers what Xbox has. And that's the problem with anyone that is a Sony fan currently. You got Horizon and Astrobot, 2 really good games, but that's all you got because your state of play was less than mid. We don't know if we're getting another show for the remainder of the year. There is no roadmap. I don't know how you can look at this show and be like, yeah, they're not cooking at Xbox. I'm just going to chill with PlayStation. Shame on you. Are you alive? Check your pulse.
Dude, fucking Herman came out. Herman came out and looked at them dead in the eye and said, best case scenario for you, we come out with 1 game during the holidays.
Yeah.
That's what we're target. Best case scenario. If we can, we're going to give you 1 of our big games.
And you know what, see money, that goes right to what King was saying about the money. The money. That's their biggest problem right now.
It's not even the money for them in this particular situation. They ain't got studios. They got six studios that anybody gives a shit about. 6.
It means money.
Meaning they can have $1 billion if they don't have studios to make the games. They're gonna have to buy studios, right? That's where the money comes in.
They have games, they have studios, they have stuff.
Well, no, they got 6, right? Name anything outside of 6. The best case scenario for them, all 6 of them line up and drop their game in 1 year. That's the best case scenario. You get 6 games, and then you don't have games for another 3 to 5 years from first party.
So this is the problem when you do when you don't prepare yourself for the future.
Yep. That's exactly what
happens. You're stuck.
Yeah.
Facts.
They continue to do business the same way. They never built an infrastructure of store. They never said, okay, I'm going to worry about store and delivery system. What they did was have other people do that. That's the reason why they have the post up right now, because they're trying to get their store together. And if you look at the listing wants the individuals to build the store, teach the staff how to distribute, market, and move product. That means you have no path. This is too late in the game when Microsoft is coming to market, Xbox is coming to market in July. That wasn't even at this show, right? You didn't get all the mobile stuff and all the stuff that you were fearing at this show. This is the problem when you have prepared for domination. You thought it wasn't going to be hardware. They gave you hardware that they said for now. This is hardware now, not hardware coming in 2026 where they tell you it's wait, there's more. This is now. We saw the hardware. We were there with the hardware. I took video of the hardware. I was live. The hardware is there. The new hardware is something that is going to stop your heart.
Yep.
Like this show.
And you know, because you talked to an unnamed weed.
No, I talked to I can say his name. He's the head of the hardware. I talked to Jason Ronald.
Indeed,
now I
we
told
both
him,
did.
I told him, do not tell me anything. And is my theory correct? Because I follow money. So when I pull up stuff and I'm talking about stuff that I know that happened and stuff that was purchased. So my conversation to him was this stuff here. Yep. And he looked like, and I said, that's it. Don't tell me anything. Because I don't want to be burdened with great expectation, right? I don't want to be low key, right? So I don't want to be burdened with great expectation, but I do have great purpose. And the great purpose is to give y'all the knowledge of what I have. Partake knowledge. Knowledge is key. I say this. You have one that was ill prepared, one that sat down on the throne and thought there will be no challenges. There will be no one to rise up. There will be no one. They laughed at Phil. Phil Dominus Maximus Aurelius Spencer, first of his name. Understand it? You know it. They laughed. And I want y'all to go back to when it was Sean Layden, Reggie Fils-Aimé, and Phil was in the middle. He did this, and they're both gone. And then he took his hands and did like this, and Jim disappeared. And with those two hands, he sired two children. Hey, Herm. You have to understand. I talk in parables most of the time, only because I like to protect the people that give me information.
Of course.
But I also want y'all guys to start doing your own digging.
Oh,
it is so terrible what's about to happen. If you think this year looks bad, right? Imagine you waiting to next fall for Wolverine or whatever the hell, Ghost of Tsushima, whatever the hell. You're waiting for whatever.
You're going to get one game. That's it.
And Microsoft is still releasing games. And they're not stopping, and they're still making games, and they're still getting first party stuff, and the Game Pass is still growing in number, and Call of Duty will continue to. This is the reason why I say hashtag no PlayStation 6 is not going to happen, because the day that they do drop a brand new console, this is why I say you're not ready with Halo, Gears, Forza, the three that you mocked and laughed at.
Yep.
Halo, Gears, Forza.
The Holy Trinity is going to be launching the next console. Listen, Shadows, before I bring you in to talk Gears, because now we're moving into Gears, I got to catch up on Super Chats, and then we'll get right to that topic. Snipes, Snipes, what's going on, brother? Welcome back. Thank you for the generosity. He has gifted, ladies and gentlemen, 1 Double Barrel Gaming membership. Brother, that's very kind of you. Thank you for the support, and welcome as always. Creative Monster drops a very generous $2 super chat, and he goes on to say, Xbox, hold the line. PlayStation, hold that L. Oh my goodness. Snipes drops an additional very generous $2 super chat and goes on to say, hold the line, boot on neck, hashtag no PlayStation 6. Fact. Indeed. Creative Monster, generous friend of the program, drops an outstanding $5 super chat, and he says, the Xbox June showcase was amazing. Xbox Series X is my main console, and my man, I'm so excited for the future. By the way, this is the best podcast on the planet. Brother, that's very kind of you. Thank you for the kind words, and of course, the generosity. We super appreciate it here, Creative Monster. Hargi Chani, not to be outdone, drops a very generous $5 super chat, and he says, so what we've been saying about PlayStation Studios turns out to be true. Right again. So SO to Jason, shout out to Jason Schreier. Maybe the ponies will listen to him. Hashtag no PlayStation 6. Indeed. Pyraf drops a very generous $5 super chat. It says 2025 is going to be insane. GTA 6, Monster Hunter, Resident Evil 9, Marvel 1945, Judas, Doom, Fable, South of Midnight, and a Nintendo Switch 2. Yeah, to start putting the money away. But, again, if you play on Xbox, you good for at least 4 games you don't got to buy. And lastly, Korkenstein, who we got a chance, Korkenstein got a chance to meet in person. Hopefully, brother, you are feeling better. He has been a channel member for 1 month. Thank you for the support. He says, just sending y'all some love. Was a pleasure hanging out with you and King last weekend, as well as you, sir. See you Friday for Breakfast with Boom. Yes, we have a great show lined up for tomorrow. Ace Out Gaming rounds us out with a $5 super chat. And Ace Out, welcome back, brother. He says, King, did you ever ask J-Dub why he gave the showcase a 5 out of 10?
Because that's his character.
There you go. King said
playing,
live on it.
He's playing a character. But
yes.
J-Dub also has an Xbox, and J-Dub has Game Pass, and J-Dub is not a fool.
J-Dub is eating well. He's eating well. And, he just will never admit. I don't know whether he goes into the closet to play. He doesn't have to. Listen, be an Xbox fan. It's cool. I'm a PlayStation fan, but I'm an Xbox dude first. But that's fine. Listen, Shadows, let's freaking go. We were talking Gears. You were emotional. We knew we were getting Gears something. Yeah. I don't think any of us could have guessed it was going to be a return to E-Day. I could not have guessed it at 100 guesses. Dude, this is what I think the community has been asking for. It is a return to what made the Xbox 360 great. It is a return to one of the pillars that hold up the Xbox brand platform, whatever you want to say. Gears is back. We're going to see, because again, if you want to read the books, they're there. Go to Amazon. You can buy them, but we're going to be playing this. And I really think it's safe to assume that it is going to be a launch title for the next console, simply because the 20th anniversary happens in 2026. Let's get your take on this biggest announcement of the show.
Gears of War E-Day, baby. Yeah, Gears of War Emergence Day. We're taking it back to the origins of basically what is the catalyst of the entire Gears of War universe. This singular global event basically kicks off the entirety of the Gears of War story narrative in every direction. And I couldn't believe it, man. Like I said, I was fully, we have all the rumors, we had all the leaks, we had, Tom Warren out there just, like reporting like 6 different times, like, yo, I'm expecting Microsoft to announce a new Gears of War game. So yeah, I was going into the event like, there's going to be a Gears of War game announcement here. And as the show obviously went on, my thought was they were either going to obviously open the show with it or close with the show. So obviously when we got those first 3 games, Doom and the other 2, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Doom, and then was it Perfect Dark, or what was the third game?
I think it was I think Perfect Dark was the third game, if I'm not mistaken.
So yeah, when we didn't get Gears of War there, I was like, okay, it has to be at the end. And obviously, as time was going on, like my stream chat was kind of losing hope, and I was saying, nah, like, you gotta believe, like this has to be the year. There's just been too much, we've been through it for too long, man. We've gone every Xbox showcase sitting there like world premiere. Okay, this might Xbox Game Studios, but right, this might. That's not it. Right. And we've gone through that, right? And yeah, I just fully knew and expected and was fully prepared for the Gears of War announcement. But yeah, not fully prepared for the Gears of War announcement that we did get. Yeah, because obviously everybody was speculating, and there was rumors of, obviously easy to say like, hey, they're just going to drop the next sequel with Gears 6, and there would be the Gears of War collection. And now, honestly, I don't even know what to think. All we know is that we got a Gears of War E-Day game confirmed, and we're taking it back to the origins, man. Emergence Day, the Locust War, the Locusts are back, and we got Marcus and Dom, and there's so much potential here. And, it feels like they've really taken a step back and been like, okay, like, what is Gears of War? Like, what is this franchise? What is this IP? Like, what is the brand? Like, what is these strong points that, Gears of War fans have been wanting to see the return for a very, very long time? And there's so much, right? It's obviously... Take it back to the Locust War. Go back to, seeing Marcus and Dom as main characters and, old school. We actually won't get Delta Squad in this game. because, you know, unless they really want to, you know, break the story lore. But one of the best things about Gears of War is the universe and the story lore and the narrative. They stick to that like it's Bible, you know, like the Gears of War lore is everything. And so, you know, we won't actually get to see like Marcus and Dom and Bed and Cole team up in E-Day because they don't actually meet for 14 years. Like the events of Gears 1, when those characters are, you know, meeting in the game, like that is actually when those characters meet. So that there's no way they can have those characters obviously interact in this game. It doesn't necessarily mean that obviously, you know, Bed and Cole can't be a part of it because, you know, it's Emergence Day, right? Everyone and everything is affected by E-Day. And yeah, I'm just so excited, man. Like, honestly, but I just can't believe it. I think this is the best case scenario that Gears of War could have done. Like, yeah, I would obviously love to see the Gears of War story continue after Gears 5. You know, I put out so many Gears 6 story theories. You know, I'll quickly drop my main one right here real quick. The idea concept based on a speech Marcus Phoenix had in Gears 5. He said, now that the Swarm have their new leading queen, that means that they must have a special hive somewhere, a nexus where they're most vulnerable. And that's where we've got to target and take out, right? And, you know, Marcus's theory was that Kate's nightmare visions in Gears 5 was actually teasing what that main Swarm hive was. And my theory was that the ending of Gears of War 3, the countermeasure when it was activated, not only crystallized the Locust and then evolved them into the Swarm and the Scions, but the countermeasure also crystallized one of the other dormant riftworms, the creator riftworm that is able to create life on Sarah. And my theory was that the ending of Gears 3 was actually what caused the origin of the Swarm. And I reckon the main Swarm hive could possibly be like a crystallized riftworm that we'd obviously have to take out, right? But obviously we're not going to get that story for, you know, anytime near soon. But I do believe still, I believe in my theory, and I feel like that could be, you know, the potential story narrative for a Gear 6. But yeah, Gears of War E-Day, man. I was absolutely shocked. You know, my reactions out there. I was just hyped to see Gears of War. Obviously, as soon as we got to the TV screen, saw the coalition or the government, you know, blue cog symbol, and you know, everybody lost their mind. Obviously, there was a newspaper before that says UIR surrender, the end of the war, or the war is over, which is related to the Pendulum Wars, which obviously takes place before that game and it ended 6 weeks ago. But yeah, I feel like, because I watched a lot of reaction videos as well, and it feels like when everybody saw that cog symbol on the TV, that was really the thing to be like, yo, this is Gears of War. But yeah, I can't wait to jump into it, man. I'll let everybody else talk, and then you know we can get back to me because I've got so much to talk about. Because I could say honestly, I just dropped this now, and then you know we can get back to it. But I could say that the coalition could actually maybe launch Gears of War E-Day as a Gears of War gaming platform to serve as a sort of like similar to how Call of Duty has it, where they have like all of their different Call of Duty experiences running through Call of Duty HQ.
Yep.
Gears of War E-Day could be a gaming platform for the Gears of War IP to launch Emergence Day E-Day stories only in that game. So, you know, you could go onto Gears of War E-Day and you have the main campaign, then you have this expansion, because that singular event is such a catalyst across all character story for both the goodies and the baddies. You know, every single cog gear, every single UIR, every single stranded civilian, even the, you know, generals of the Locust Horde with Ram and Scourge, like every character has a story to tell. And so, you know, what if they turn obviously that E-Day into a platform that could serve, obviously, you know, looking at what they did with High Busters, right? And the Gears 5 campaign DLC expansion there, they could easily do that for every type of, you know, character or different squads in the game, whether you get, you know, the Bed and Cold story from Hanover, where they're actually at the Cougars Thrashball Stadium. We obviously have the Battle of Janamon, which is the first COG city that gets attacked on Emergence Day by Scourge and General Ram. And, you know, there's so much potential in the storyline of Gears that really, like, Gears of War E-Day could launch, like, a whole new platform for Gears of War. And also, just before we get to the next person, I say that because if you do obviously go over to the Xbox Wire news post that they made regarding the future of Gears, there's a few comments in there from the coalition which sort of gave me this idea, because they do say that it's also important to know that Emergence Day is not a spin-off. It is a completely new entry in the mainline series, just set earlier in the timeline. The events of this game not only serve as an exciting origin tale of two beloved characters, but it also adds detail and context to this period. So, like, Gears of War E-Day as a game is going to serve with great context and detail that will resonate through stories that will follow. So the coalition are already talking about how Gears of War E-Day as a game is going to set off possibly what will maybe be obviously future stories with, again, still young, you know, Marcus and Dom throughout the Locust War itself. And they say, where is it? Right here. Everything that happens in E-Day will shape the future of Gears of War for the better. And so obviously, what does that statement mean, right? Everything that happens in Gears of War Emergence Day as a game will shape the future of Gears of War for the better. Because obviously, like, we know how the Locust War ends in the original Gears trilogy. So, like, in terms of story narrative, the Gears of War E-Day game can't obviously change the events of what happened in those games. So it must be not, you know, something related to the story, but it must be on a much larger grand scheme of things, right? In the sense of everything that happens in Gears of War Emergence is going to shape the future of, you know, Gears of War as a franchise, but also future games in the future as well.
So,
I mean, listen, bro.
real quick. The only thing when I hear that, and see, when I read it, all that made me think of was they're starting with E-Day because, again, you know, as much as, you know, we know that context, right? Got to remember, there's a whole new generation of people who Gears of War is just another game that came out in 20, you know, whatever, right? The last Gears of War 5, right? So when you go to Gears 5, right, the reason they're not going to Gear 6 now in my head is that there's no foundation for Gears lovers that are new, right?
Yeah.
Like it's all just old Gears heads that are talking about this. But unfortunately, you guys are very limited, right? Like you guys are not the mainstream. And I'm not talking about you guys in particular. I'm talking about Gears heads, right? There's just not that many anymore, right?
Yeah,
Like
we're falling off, man. Like, there's a lot of people that obviously I played with, you know, back in the day, clan members that have, you know, grown up, moved on, got kids, got family, and
exactly.
Yeah,
And there's
no longer
nothing
here,
to bring those. There's nothing to bring that new in, right? The new people who are interested in Gears, right? So when I took it this way, you know, I said Emergence Day, they want to start right from the beginning, right? Introduce us to just Marcus and Dom. Like you said, the other people are not even a part of that story yet, right? So they're kind of giving us that. Really, that's what everybody loved, that real story between the two, right? Everybody fell in love with the two of them, so they're giving us that. And then, you know, we've had the rumors about the Gears trilogy, right, being a remake, right? So when I saw that, and, you know, my wife Doodle, she was the one who kind of brought it up to me, and it just made sense, was the fact that you got the E-Day that comes out, then you drop your trilogy. Now that we say trilogy, maybe it's not all one trilogy. Maybe it's just the first game. Maybe they're breaking it up. Who knows the way they're going to do it? But you got the trilogy redone in Unreal Engine 5, and it's a remake, not just a remaster. So they fixed this, not change the lore, but do it in a way where it's going to be able to help introduce new people to the story, and then you lead into Gear 6.
That's
because
probably
you don't
what's going to happen.
Yeah. That's the way I see it. Just because Gear 6 is too daunting, they know that Gears 5, you know, it did great, but it's not bringing in new people like that, right? Whereas, you know, if you just come out with a Gear 6, it's just going to be another game that people are going to be like, oh man, I don't even know what Gears 1, 2, like Gear 6. What the hell's happened to Gears 4?
Yeah,
5? You know what I'm saying? Like,
they're obviously using Gears of War E-Day is like, I actually really look at it as sort of like a spiritual sort of reboot of Gears of War.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, taking it back to like the pure, like the purest forms of the foundation of what makes Gears of War great. And obviously, you know, Emergence Day is the best way to do that. And I would say that if Emergence Day is really successful, I could actually like even see like the coalition again splintering into multiple Gears of War teams and having, you know, one team dedicated to telling stories with these, you know, the younger Marcus and Darman, because it's set on Emergence Day and Gears 1 is in 14 years. Like, it's still like we have so much negative space in the Locust War. Like, if you look at the entirety of the Locust War, it's 17 years. The original trilogy takes place in only the last 3 years. We know that in the 10 years after E-Day is the Battle of Aphira, which is the battle that gets Marcus sent to the Slab prison. We know that the Hammer Strikes take place 2 years after Emergence Day, which is when the COG were like, hey, if you don't make it to the Jacinto Plateau, your sacrifice will be remembered, and we're going to literally just absolutely just burn the world with the Hammer of Dawn. You know, if you're outside of Jacinto Plateau, you're basically, you're cooked, you're gone, see you later. Yeah. We appreciate your sacrifice, you know? And obviously, like, in terms of story narrative, there's so much negative space there that they could do like one game per year, and that would be 14 Gears of War games from E-Day to Gears 1. You know, there's so much story that still needs to be told. And that's, you know, that's what the coalition's passionate about, man. They did a interview with IGN like 4 years ago when they, you know, teased the choice, and they also said that like the coalition team isn't obviously locked in to be like, right, they have to do Gear 6 and then they have to go do Gear 7. Like they have to continue it, you know, the present story. They look at Gears of War as like, we have like 200 years right here from the Pendulum Wars till the, you know, current present timeline day, that we have like all of these different eras, whether it's the Pendulum Wars, the Locust War, the Lambent Pandemic, the Stranded Insurgency. Like we have all of these narratives that exist in our like timeline already, that we want to go jump back in the past. We want to go jump, you know, to the other factions. We want to go tell all these different stories just to make up there's so much negative space that still exists in Gears of War, even though it's already been, you know, around for 20 years. It's the thing about Gears of War, man. The negative space in this franchise is basically anything that's never been explained until it is explained. And really, they can't stop doing Gears of War until they've explained everything, you know?
That's the black box variable. But the basis of what you're talking about is the change that's inside Microsoft structure, Xbox structure. Xbox structure has gone from a console constructed box into an open format, open free-falling format. The platform, which is Game Pass. Game Pass is supposed to be this hydra that is extended through everywhere, through every screen. That's the whole premise of it, right? So when you did that, that you looked at the pillars, those three pillars that we talked about. Halo Infinite was the first to launch the salvo into that structure, right? And what the idea was with Halo was it was supposed to be this open world thing that you was able to Lego build on and send down episodic stories, if you will, to continue on the platform. It wasn't well received in the beginning, and I don't know what they do with that. And I'm pretty sure they're going to continue in that same space because they did the same exact thing for Forza. Started from the ground up so that it's in a space where that it can be Legoed on and continue in continuum inside the space, the platform, right? Gears. Now that you touched on that aspect of it, and you have all these little branching connecting parts with Emergence Day, there's so many stories that can be told out of that same funnel that this lends properly. This probably can be the only franchise that can successfully launch inside Game Pass and start that episodic structure that they're looking for to continue keeping different teams working in that Call of Duty type of piston, like that machine, that thing that keeps millions of subscribers locked in year to year into your service, along with Call of Duty dudes. Let's say the Call of Duty dude wants to take a break and he can slide over to some Forza or slide over to some Gears or go into some Halo. And those pillars start to stand on their own and they start to infest every screen across the world. I honestly believe that that's the plan. I didn't think when I got a lot of the paperwork, when I got a lot of the information, they kept saying the Marcus Phoenix remaster collection. They kept saying that, and then when I seen him, I'm like, okay, right, but I'm like, shit, he looks young. Like I'm like, okay, this is bad CGI. That's what I said. I said if he's fitting to die here, I'm like, what is this? What's going on here, right? Because I was so off base with what was going on. And then I said, aha. If they go back here, they can always get to Gear 6, launch the game.
There's no rush for it.
There's absolutely zero rush. But at the same time, still develop that pipeline where you're giving the fan base, the core fan base, the stories that you want to tell. There's Halo books that they want to tell. There's stories that they want to tell because the show is doing so well, but they don't have a companion piece to this. Fallout 76 is the reason why we have Fallout 76 on the show, is the companion piece for the Fallout show, because they don't have a companion piece, Fallout proper, to go with it. So they're attaching it to Fallout 76. You might be right, because the Netflix Gears of War can coincide with all of this, and
Yep.
they're hitting it from a multimedia aspect. What is it? Trimedia? That's what it's called.
The transmedia.
Transmedia.
Yeah.
Transmedia aspect of it grows within leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
And then you can do a Sony and say, hey, let's Lego this crap as well.
Oh boy.
I'm just saying.
They need to make a Lego Halo. All right.
Listen, I got the real Lego Halos. I don't need to.
Yeah, I feel it. I need it.
Listen,
No, I think you're right too with the Netflix show. I think they're gonna show E-Day, right? And
Yeah, well, it's going to be a film. The
show.
film is in current pre-production right now, and they are working on an anime. So yeah, those two things are on
one of
the
them
way.
is gonna show it. So if you launch one of them and then launch the game, you know what I'm saying? See E-Day, play E-Day. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah. No,
I'm a campaign dude. I am not the multiplayer dude. I'm not even sitting here and holding it. It's not. Yeah, I don't care.
I'm ready for that back, nah.
Nah, listen. I'm a Fortnite dude. I like the free flow. I like the jumping cars. I like the jump, skydive.
That's like me. I'm a Halo guy. I'm never gonna roll with gears. It's fine. But listen, we got to bring in Crispy Bomb, because Crispy, hearing Shadows break this down, made a light bulb go off in my head.
I like him. He's good.
Okay. You see, we are just assuming, Crispy, that E-Day is going to be its game. It's a prequel. It is going to set up. We know it's not going to change anything. And shout out to Paris Lily, who's in the chat. So great to meet you in person, brother. It was awesome to hang out with you,
That's
Danny. And so many people that I met for the first time. It was amazing. What if, Crispy Bomb, this is a new trilogy? Because Shadows broke it down where when we first are introduced to Marcus, it's 10 years past E-Day.
14
years past E-Day when we first find Marcus. So maybe this is a new trilogy. I can actually see where we get from E-Day to where we first meet Marcus. There's a lot of time from then. Let's talk about it, brother. Let's get your personal reactions of this, because we knew something Gears was happening. I don't think any of us knew this was happening.
I mean, this is exactly what I wanted. It was, when I saw E-Day, I said Gears freaking lives, because like I felt like if they went right to 6, it just wouldn't do it justice. It wouldn't. And your idea, Shadows, I don't necessarily had the same exact thought, but I was like, they've done a lot of great DLCs over the lifetime of the Gears of War, the whole franchise. Like, you had like Ram Shadow, you had like the Aftermath, you had, like all these different DLCs.
You remember the Road to Ruin as well in Gears 2 when you dressed up as Farron guys and you had to sneak into the Nexus?
Yeah, actually, I don't remember that one. Yeah. I mean, dude, like, because I played Gears so long in my life, that's why, dude, sub to Shadows. If you want lore, I'm telling you, this man is a Gears book. His head is that impressive. I've watched so many videos of yours and learned something new about Gears. At the end of the day, I played the game. You know what I mean? Like, you have went full on in depth. I always knew there was that gap, and I always said, what are we going to do about this? You know what I mean? I know there's like little fillers, but so I watched Cliffy B's, interview, and he's like, yeah, we really, at the end of the day, like even the Pendulum Wars, I just threw it in there. And he's like, he'd reference some book or something that he read, and he's like, at the end of the day, if you throw these reference points in, you can always find a way to go back to them or find a way to bring them in the lore. And that was like, I was like, aha. And he loved it. So, he was like, I was like, so they, we're going back. We really are going back to the logic of what it was. And really it started out like a piecemeal, and realism of what was an idea and became like this whole, like, it's a book series, it's a comic series, gaming, we're going to a movie now and an anime. Like, they could really do that. And the only question I have is how do you, because at the end of the day, like me and Shadows, like, yeah, we're gonna go and beat the campaign, but then we're gonna be back in the multiplayer. how are they gonna move that along, kind of like, you know, not necessarily like any gameplay loop or not like that, the normal Gears gameplay loop, but maybe having more of like a Warzone type, like, hey, like every 2 years you get this new episode, but it's like a DLC, you know what I mean? It brings you back into the lands, then they give you a whole new map set and all this other stuff. Like, there's a lot there that could really, because UE5 is really in its infancy. So we're talking, this thing could be going on for another 10 years. You know what I mean? Easily. So you could have a game every 2 years that, you know, really piecemeals, you know, 8 to 10 hour campaign, new multiplayer stuff, really make sure that you launch it correctly. Cause y'all know my feeling about that Tour of Duty system. I'm going to tell you right now, when they launched like that, I was so ticked off. I was like, dude, can we just get the loot boxes back, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that. And dude, like, people were like, dude, you're a gear. How can you say that? And this was years ago. I'm like, dude, I am honest. Okay. Like, when it ain't right, I'm going to call them out. And they did fix it, but it took way too long.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They gotta launch this right. Yeah.
I can explain a little bit onto that as well, because, you know, there was a lot of stuff like that in Gears 5 where it might have sounded good on paper and they thought they was doing the right thing, but it was either executed poorly or it just didn't translate. Because, like, as you talk about with the Tour of Duty, because obviously I flew out to the Coalition the week before Gears 5 dropped, and they told me that they thought the community was separated into, like, you know, there's people that want to, like, spend money and, you know, get stuff like instantly. There's people that want to spend time and, you know, unlock stuff. And then there's people that just want stuff for free, you know? So they tried to, like, cater to each different audience, and it kind of obviously just backfired, right? And then obviously it took, because I told him as well, I sat down with the game the week before it comes out and I went, why is there only Marcus Phoenix in multiplayer? You've got one legacy character in multiplayer on launch day. Where's Dom? Where's Carmine? There's no Delta Squad. There's no Carmines. There's no Locust characters. Like, Marcus Phoenix was the only legacy character on the launch of Gears 5. So there was a lot of, like, you know, missteps and misdirections. So, like, you know, if you obviously want to talk about release date for Gears of War E-Day, there was a Coalition developer leak on ArtStation a little while ago from a senior character concept artist who had all of his projects that he's worked on. And luckily, his last project was a unannounced Coalition game set for 2026, which is obviously, you know, the 20th anniversary of Gears of War. And, you know, if we talk about how, because, you know, like I said, it's very, very interesting for me as a Gears head, you know, Gears fan, you know, through and through, and obviously from, you know, super deep in the Gears community, knowing how a lot of Gears of War fans feel about the Gears games compared to how, like, Xbox gamers and Xbox fans feel about the Gears games. And obviously with Gears 4 and 5 at both of those launches, there was, you know, the campaigns were great, but there was a lot of issues and problems, especially with multiplayer and stuff like that, and servers and content, and the game's basically feeling like, you know, there's a foundation there, but it wasn't enough, you know, it was undercooked, underbaked. And so, you know, if they want to obviously make sure that, like, hey, we want to get this next Gears game, Gears of War E-Day, like, it has to be perfect, flawless, then, because you know, ever since the announcement, I've been bombarded with when's release date? Yo, heard anything about is it next year, this year, next year? What's going on?
It's
and I've
definitely
obviously said, like, hey, it's probably going to be 2026, and people are like, nah, I can't wait that long. And I'm like, you know, if we obviously look at the history, and we don't want to repeat ourselves with Gears of War, and we want to make sure that when this game comes out, it's fully baked, it's fully ready to go, and yeah, Gears of War is re-emerging, man. It's time.
So Shadows, real quick, so my question is this, because, you know, obviously Gears multiplayer, you know, you guys love it, Crispy loves it, it has its community.
Yeah.
But you also just said, like, it was a miss having only Marcus, right? Because the legacy characters, none of them were there, right? Well, if you go to E-Day, right, and if you're keeping in that game's time frame, right, then multiplayer is also not having any of those people, right?
You could obviously include,
unless you're going to break the mold and bring the future into the past, right?
You don't really need the, like, Gears 4 era characters, you know. There's more than you can obviously have all of the characters of the original trilogy in there. Obviously, depending on the story direction,
like 10, 15 years. Something
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
I don't know.
They all, you know, they're all soldiers of the cog, you know.
Yeah, they link up by that time.
And also, obviously, like, they're stranded. You know, they could have civilian characters. There's stranded characters called, like, Franklin Tesoko, who was the guy that, you know, Dominic Santiago had a little deal with to get the Junker in Gears 1. You've got, you know, old man chaps like, Marcus, get out of my gas station. like there's so much potential in obviously, you know, characters, and obviously there's the expanded universe of Gears of War. You know, there's so many characters that have never received a voice actor, never made an appearance in the games. And obviously they can, you know, instead of doing these crazy WWE crossovers that hopefully we don't see again, because that was not it, bro. I saw the New Day trailer, mans were twerking in Gears armor. I went, nah, turn it off. Come on. And now we're getting Gears of War E-Day, right? Finally, we're getting back to it, bro. Get the twerking out of here. Let me kill some grubs, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of potential, obviously, in the Gears of War universe from the books and the comics that they could bring those characters in. And obviously, depending on the direction that this Emergence Day game, you know, because if you look at what they've talked about, it's in terms of story details so far, they say that the game begins when it is peace. But you can't really, from a gameplay perspective, start off with peace. There has to be something to set up that peace, you know. And obviously, we know that is the Pendulum Wars. And so it's very possible that the opening of Gears of War E-Day could be the actual Pendulum Wars. And we go and fight the Indies, the UIR, as Marcus in maybe the Battle of Aspo Fields, which is what includes Carlos Santiago and Helena Stroud, so Dom's brother and Anya's mother. So there's obviously a lot more characters that could be in the Pendulum Wars, if they decide to obviously include that in the game as well. That could obviously, you know, transfer over to the multiplayer. But yeah, there's a lot of potential for obviously, you know, characters and customization and stuff like that. It just obviously depends on what they include obviously in the campaign itself.
And did that trailer give you an idea of anything as far as like when it's happening? Like just seeing
it's happening the day of Emergence Day, yeah.
That trailer's the day of Emergence Day?
Yeah. So, you know, obviously some people thought, hey, it's because Gears of War 4 took place over 24 hours and, you know, maybe they were going to obviously do the same thing. There was I think they did an interview with, I think it was Game Radar, I think it was. And they did say that, I think it's at the very bottom right here. They said, oh, yeah, here it is. They say, yeah, Matt Cersei confirms that E-Day won't be set over just one day, but it will be over multiple days. It's be natural to assume the former, given that Emergence Day was a singular catastrophic event in the Gears of War universe. But apparently the new game will focus on Marcus and Dom as they do deal with the fallout of the Locust invasion and not just the initial attack. So we're going to obviously experience Emergence Day, but we're going to experience maybe a little bit afterwards. I don't know. Like, obviously, the potential's unlimited, right? Like, I couldn't imagine they go too far after Emergence Day because obviously it would move away from the game's title being E-Day. But yeah, they could obviously, you know, start it off in the Pendulum Wars. They have a big focus on the fact that obviously this is an origin story of the brotherhood between Marcus and Dom, who connect to each other through the loss of Carlos Santiago in the Pendulum Wars. And so what better way for the player and, you know, the gamer to be able to connect to that as well. So, you know, maybe we do start off in that Pendulum Wars. We have, you know, player 1 Marcus, player 2 Carlos. We see Dom's brother get killed off as he does. And we can then obviously, you know, maybe have a little fast forward into the piece and, you know, see like, oh, this is what the COG and the UIR fought for, right? This is what they fought for. Because there was about 6 weeks of actual peace on Sarah between the end of the Pendulum Wars and Emergence Day. But like the sad thing is, and, you know, the fact that the Locust Horde just obviously come out of nowhere, a lot of the soldiers were still returning. Like they didn't even make it home, you know, the war ended. Like obviously, you know, they're flying across the world back to their homes. And it's only 6 weeks between the end of the Pendulum Wars and the emergence of the Locust. So
hold on. So the Pendulum Wars is not against the Locust?
What's that?
No.
The Pendulum Wars was
the war that they were fighting. Well,
the Pendulum Wars was a 79-year war between the two superpowers of the world, the Coalition of Order Governments, the COG, or the Union of Independent Republics, the UIR. And it was a battle for control over emotion. Because what happened was, basically, if you think of planet Earth, right? Imagine all of the fossil fuels, all oil, all gone. It's all gone. What's going to happen to, obviously, every country? If you got no resources, no fuel, it's all gone, right? And then all of a sudden, they discover this natural resource, the emotion. And there's a doctor called Helen Cooper who transfers it into usable energy through a light mass process. And then what happens is different countries discover that they have more of a natural reserve of emotion in their, you know, territory compared to others. And so what happens is the COG, especially Tyrus, which is the capital of the COG, they have the most, and the UIR sort of countries don't have much. And they look at the COG and be like, well, that's not fair. Like, you know, we want some of that. So they start forming together and the COG start forming together. And then it's literally an 80-year war over emotion, control of the planet, control of where the emotion is, you know?
Yeah. You could have human versus human stuff if you went back to that.
I would imagine that could
if you really wanted to.
They could even do a trilogy of you know, Pendulum Wars. And what's crazy is I completely forgot. I've made Gears of War content for like 12 years. I've literally discussed everything and anything about Gears of War. Someone commented it on my video as they did, and they said, "Oh, I'm here in 2024." 9 years ago, when Microsoft acquired the Gears of War franchise, I put out a couple theory videos and obviously what I thought the direction Gears of War should go in. And one of the idea concepts I said was, for Gears of War 4, it shouldn't be a sequel set in the future. It should be taking it back to Emergence Day and telling the origins of the Locust War. I did a video 9 years ago on that exact same concept within about 4 or 5 months of Microsoft acquiring Gears. I also made I basically, like, because obviously I know the entirety of the Gears universe in and out pretty much. I was just throwing everything out there at that point, back in like 2014. But yeah, I did another series where I said like Gears of War could have obviously taken the Star Wars approach, where we had Marcus Phoenix, or Luke Skywalker tell his story, and then you go back to obviously Anakin and Adam Phoenix and tell like a trilogy story of obviously Marcus's father fighting in that Pendulum Wars. You know, like what was it really like to, you know, to basically grow up, right? I'm going to sign up, you know, fight for 50 years, and then my son's going to do the same. Like, it's just, again, there's just so much potential in Gears of War that they could honestly go on forever, man.
Well, can I just say, Microsoft, Xbox, Gears of War, the coalition, like, please. And if you are not if you love Gears, you are not sub to this man, I am sorry. He is the ultimate Gears of War fan.
He reminds me of Hayden Xperia for Halo. Yeah,
pretty much.
Has he got Halo tattooed there?
You know what? I don't know. That's a good. You might be a little more hardcore than him.
The crazy story about that. I'll quickly tell it. I told BoomStick before, but Xbox actually paid for that. Yeah, they just Xbox UK slid in my DMs the day before I was going to the coalition, and they said, "Hey, do you want to get Gears of War tattoo?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay." It was like, "Have you got any ideas?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I want to get the Phoenix Omen and the Crimson Omen merged together." And I was like, "Okay, we'll send it off to the ICE." Came back with the tattoo, and I was like, "Is that right?" I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "All right, it's booked in. You go there tonight." And I went to London, quickly got it, and I came home and then flew to the coalition the next day. You know, it was all part of their like Gears of War have always done those like Gears Inc. events. You know, like the Gears Inc. promotion.
That's dope, dude.
It was on that Bible. It was. I went back to the London LAN event and then had like the details done and. Gears his life out here, man. I love
that. That is what I am talking about. Listen, look.
Can I ask him one last question? Because I don't get to talk to him too much.
I could talk about Gears of War forever, man. Hit me with all the questions. If you got anything, I can answer it.
So, but it's more because I know we were talking, like you were saying, there's all this potential for all these games for Emergence Day, but and I know 2026 is 20 year, right? But we also Boom has told us, right? The Gears of War collection. Supposedly exists, right?
Yeah, so they are. What I think actually he made mention of it. Look, People Can Fly are working on a legacy game, an IP right now. I don't know if that is the Gears of War collection. We know that that exists. We've heard it from multiple sources. Whether or not they decide to bring that out afterwards to get people introduced into Gears, maybe that is what they're holding it off for. Maybe 2026 we get E-Day. Maybe at some point we get expansions to kind of tell other stories. But the Gears of War trilogy needs to happen in Unreal Engine 5 to bring in new players.
I'm a beg to differ, Boom.
Okay, please, by all means, jump in.
To say I think it was a scare tactic by the pony bots.
Oh, okay. I mean,
I'm just serious because honestly, I think
pony bots are a thing. You said it.
I think it was a co-op moment. I think they have, ever since those 4 games have went over, we have held court to all type of speculation. The Halo Master Chief Collection, Gears,
Forza.
I think the Forza. Yeah, go ahead. I think whoever got the information on Marcus Phoenix, and I don't think they let anybody know that it was E-Day. I think they held that tight as a baby's fart, and they didn't let that out. And whoever probably got a glimpse and saw Marcus was like, "Oh, this is Marcus Phoenix collection," and ran with that. And Ponybot's got a hold of it. It's like, well, it's coming over to PlayStation, and the PlayStation will love to play some Gears. And it'll be over here. It'll happen. And then we got this. I think that is more likely scenario than there's a Marcus Phoenix collection being made. I think them building on the universe that you spoke about, Shadows, that the edict that's inside that building, as far as building games that can be built upon for multiple years going forward, which Sarah Bonds talks about. Anytime you listen to her talk, she's talking about gaming, taking your games to the future. That means stackable games. That means the game you purchase today will be playable in 2029 because there's a layered system that they're building that you'll be able to take your games forward. The concept of taking your games forward and playing back compat games is two different concepts. Back compat games, it's stuck there. They can bring them currently with, up resolution, but that's frame rate boost and all that stuff inside your console that does it natively with no problem. You will not have to talk about that, right? So if you're saying bring your games forward, what are you talking about? Nobody's asking her the hard questions. Everybody's asking her the dumb questions like, can it go to PlayStation? And those are the pony bots having the questions, right? They're not intelligent Xbox people saying, well, what do you mean by my games going forward? What is the actual function and what do you mean? And nobody's diving deep into that because they're too busy playing console wars, worrying about stuff that somebody else is going to do in another state, in another country that may not have access to Xbox, but does have a PlayStation. And if they can get a chance to play something over there, God bless, do it. If you're going to pay, do what you're going to do. I don't care.
So, but then she said like the reason that she wanted to make sure she's doing that forward, make sure the games of today will work forward on your next console is because the next console is going to be it's not going to be just the next evolution of the old one.
No,
I think the whole point she's saying that the biggest technological leap in history of consoles, I think what she's trying to say is that game's not going to just work natively. It's going to require them to do the work to make that happen. Just like the 360, right? They didn't work on the Xbox and they had to do it. That's what I took when she said make sure those games are coming forward.
She never expounded on what the machine is, but they will not have to do the work on the trust the machine.
The machine will do the work for
it.
Well, no, of course. But what I'm saying is that that's what the team is doing, is making sure that the games will work. It's just not like if she doesn't have that team, the system will not just natively run that. She's making sure that it's going to have the stack.
So this is the reason why it's not the machine. And this is the reason why my theory holds water. They have Samsung there. So if you was at Summer Games Fest, Samsung has a whole section that was sequestered off, and you had to get through the velvet rope to get in over there. Well, when me and BoomStick, Boom went at a separate time, I went at a separate time when we was downtown in Manhattan. The crux of the Forza event was play without a console.
Yep.
The concept of still taking your games forward is still a thing. So they don't want to be beholden to the console, because if you just looked at Hip Hop Gamers interview with Phil at the Summer Games Fest at the Samsung booth, Phil dropped a nugget. If anybody's ever paying attention to what these people are saying, they're media trained to drop little nuggets. There's going to be a time where a guy doesn't want to buy a console. But how is that guy going to take his games forward? So it has to be done on a software level at a stack.
Yeah.
And that software level at a stack has to be so robust that it will transcend generations. And this is the fundamental question that nobody's asking her. Nobody's asking anyone this. They're sitting there on their hands waiting to be spoon-fed. But I asked the question. So the answer is, fundamentally, Microsoft is a software company. And they're working on something on a software level that is going to transcend the gaming space.
Mm-hmm.
The hardware is just the conduit. The same thing as your television, the same thing as your monitor, but the software. It's what drives Microsoft, and that's why they're $1 trillion company. But I'm listening to everybody concepts, and I'm playing scenarios again over in my head, and I'm understanding, and then I'm going through my DMs, and I'm picking up nuggets out of my DMs. Again, not saying that no one's digging, but the hardware is just another rope to pull you in to the service.
Yeah. I put it, the future is ridiculous. But look, this show usually runs around 70 minutes. We went a little extra because of the size of the panel. Everyone got a chance to drop their bars. Yeah, well, I mean,
Gears of War gas.
Yes, indeed. Well, listen, let's get everyone out of here. But before I can get you guys out of here, I do got to catch up on super chats. Chris R drops a very generous $5 super chat, and he says, "I'm super psyched for E-Day, but also Gear 6. I think Rod Ferguson leaving was for the best. We already see the new team taking a horror focus. Yeah, I'm glad they went back to the horror focus. Sleepy, we have Finn Gurmas drops a very generous $2 super chat. And thanks so much, Finn. Appreciate you being here. Thank you for the generosity. He says, Doom Guy and Master Chief in E-Day. Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that would work with a lot of Gears heads. They certainly want to keep Gears to Gears. But thanks so much for the generosity. Sleepy Goblin 2D, who's been a channel member, ladies and gentlemen, for 50 months. I mean, geez, that's as long as the channel's been around. That is crazy generous of you to support the channel for as long as you have, brother. He says, just want to say thank you for all of the content over the years, man. Feel like after this show, we're all riding on a way of good emotions. Straight up, shout out to you, brother. Thank you for the generosity and, of course, the very generous comment. That's why we do it, and I'm glad that you are continuing to enjoy the content. Decided D drops a very generous $5 super chat, and he says, I'm so glad I did not buy a PlayStation 5. I went PC instead. The only game I have wanted from PlayStation is the Demon Souls remake, and obviously, well, there you go. Shout out to you, Decided D. Thank you so much for the generosity. Lil V772 drops a very generous $5 super chat, and he says, Uncle Boom, I'm a PlayStation guy, and I enjoy the podcast. Sony got to go to the drawing board. Tell Hargeet I apologize for the comment. I'm sure he heard you, brother. Thank you so much for being here, as always. Sir X-Man drops a very generous $5 super chat, and he says, I have been saying for 3 years, Sony is on business welfare, but nobody listens to me. I'll be preaching the truth. You'll need to listen, right, Boom? Shout out to you, Sir X-Man. Got to get you back on the show soon enough. Mrs. K's TV, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for the very generous $5 super chat. And she says, at work, but I'm definitely enjoying Double Barrel Gaming's podcast. Keep up the good work. #salute. Thank you so much for the generosity, but thank you for the very nice comment. And lastly, Duran James. Duran, hey, welcome to the program, brother. He drops a $5 super chat and says, could Xbox games go to Nintendo instead of PlayStation? I think you're going to see quite a few of them go over there because, well, you know, they want to make money, and people want to play their games. If they don't want to buy an Xbox, you, like Phil said in that interview, go play the game where you want. Just buy it. There you go. But listen, let's get everyone out of here, and we'll start first with Shadows. This, my friends and ladies and gentlemen, is one of the premier Gears of War channels on YouTube. He does an amazing job. His knowledge of what has happened over the course of Gears 1 through present, plus all of the backstories. You heard him talk about it. Get over there, sub his channel. Get over there, check out his live streams. Shadow, sell your brand, brother. Where can people find your channel, but more importantly, check you out on social media?
Yeah, my name is Lee. If you don't know, I've been creating Gears of War content since 2012, streaming for the last 9 years. I stream Gears of War daily. You know, we've been in the trenches of Gears 5, and luckily now we finally have something new to talk about, because I've been literally having nothing for like 3 years. You know, it's just been, hey, when's the next Gears announcement? We're here. We made it. We made it. But yeah, you can find me. You know, this is the SSX Shadows everywhere. yeah, obviously with the Gears of War E-Day game announcement, you know, I did my trailer, we did the reaction, I've done the breakdown, and yeah, if you are interested in obviously Gears of War and Gears of War E-Day, you can literally expect a bunch of content, man. Pretty much unlimited Gears of War E-Day based content until the game launches. You know, all I literally needed was a trailer and just for Coalition Xbox to be like, hey, this Gears of War game exists, and yeah, we're going to be smashing out. As you know, we speculated and talked about today, you know, you can definitely expect a lot of like story, lore related content, and you know, explaining all of the narrative around Emergence Day for all the characters. And you know, I live stream Gears 5 daily on Twitch and YouTube and Kick as well. So yeah, if anybody ever wants to, you know, grab a game of Gears of War, I'm live every day. You can expect it. And yeah, you know, road to Gears of War E-Day, man. I'm ready. And also, I actually just hit 95,000 subs on YouTube.
Holy cow, dude! Congratulations,
so, you know, we're in the last 5K stretch for that YouTube plaque, man, which is just crazy. As I said,
you keep doing what you're doing. You're gonna get there, brother.
Like, I was stuck at 93K for about, I think, 2 years because I wasn't going up, I wasn't going down. I was just stuck, you know. But you know, now is maybe the time. So. Yeah, 100K on Gears of War, man. It's pretty mad. You know, when I started at 17 years old, you know, that was always the goal. Like I thought, hey, if I can get, you know, 100,000 for at least a YouTube plaque for Gears of War, that'd be the dream. And yeah, we're almost there. And I'll probably I'll probably hit it for either or maybe before, you know, for this new Gears of War E-Day. So yeah, Gears of War content. If you want it, I got it.
Yes, he sure does, brother. We're gonna help get you. We're gonna put you on our backs and get you to 100K, brother. Don't sweat about that. Thank you so much for being here. Crispy Bomb, our other Gears head, loves Gears, plays Gears, multiplayer Gears, you name it, he plays it. Crispy Bomb, sell your brand, brother. Where can people find you on social media? And what else you got going on?
Now Shadow's got me like questioning. I'm like, dude, did I ever even play that damn DLC? Like, because there was like a 2-year span where I didn't have internet. So like I don't even know if I played that.
On Gears 2?
Because I didn't. Yeah, because I just played Horde and I played the campaign.
Yeah, and I don't know. Chapter. It was not. It's not like a fully fleshed deal. But it's if you haven't played or if you can't even remember, you got to go jump back on that, man.
Yeah, I know. I got to. But
it's like a stealth. Like you can go guns blazing Gears of War, but like you can take it stealth and you put the Farron Guard armor on and. Yeah, you got to like sneak behind the enemy.
Oh, now you're jogging my memory. You're jogging my memory a little bit, but I think I still need to go back and play that. But it's at Chris Bomb on Twitter, Chris Bomb 28, Xbox Live. Usually I'm on BWB tomorrow. You got me today. I gave my TTS, as you like to call it. So we'll see you next week on Breakfast with Boom, and maybe I'll show up somewhere else. You never know.
Absolutely, Smurfly, brother. Thanks so much for being here. King David, brother. Lord King, 98.9% right at the time. And he dropped it like it was hot. He TTS the heck out of this show. Brother, sell the brand. Oh, but listen, we all know about the Iron Lords. We know about the 4 Horsemen of Gaming. We know about lordsofgaming.net. But you know what we also want to know about? Your daily content, which has been cream of the crop, chef kiss. You've been dropping it like it's hot. Let's talk about Xbox Frontline News. Where can people check that out? And more importantly, follow you, the slanderous one, on social media?
Well, first I want to thank esteemed panel for having me on today, and also getting a chance to listen to somebody that actually plays Gears, something crazy, that knows the lore about Gears. And this has nothing to do with Crispy. Crispy knows I'm being very, very, very slanderous right now. Somebody that has a channel that has damn near 100,000 by playing Gears. Crispy knows I'm being very, very slanderous, and who I'm being slanderous to. The premier person in Gears. I appreciate that because you gave me a lesson today and it was fantastic. And I would rather be taught by somebody that knows something than somebody that doesn't. Anyway, shout out to C Money and the team, Tell Doodle and the team. I said hello. I love you guys. Crispy. You already know you have the best voice in the radio. You and Fonz, I swear to God, should do a channel. It's ridiculous.
They should be both in Gears, the next, for sure. Be a character in Gears, damn it. Let's go.
Do bedtime stories. Y'all are ridiculous. Fantastic voices. And Boom, my brother, I'm so sorry that I didn't get a chance to spend more time with you. I tell Boom to go out to these shows every time we go out. And he went out to the big one. Pause. He got out to the big show,
Mm.
and he was having such a good time. You should have saw Captain America doing his spin moves out there. It's something to see a grown man, and when you see him, he's a child, he's a kid.
Yep.
He has the wonderment in his eyes, and it's something beautiful. I love that because we were all children there, you know.
Yeah.
We had our little plushies. And
It was Christmas morning for 3 days.
It was beautiful. So again, thank you for having me here. Xbox Frontline News. And if King OTW on Xbox, if you want to hang out, I think is Xbox 360 lover on PlayStation, or could it be Xbox Game Pass lover on PlayStation, or it could be because I have 3 over there. So if you're looking for my account, you know, PlayStation does a lot of things to me, so I just do a lot of things back. And Xbox Frontline News, where I drop videos daily, and I'm the man with the coin. Boing boing coin. Give coins out to members daily, weekly. I'm working on a new format. We almost have 500 members, and that's like wild. So when I get to 500 members, now I had somebody that won the statue, and he knows who he is. And since you hasn't claimed it, it's going back in the 500 member range. We're almost to 500 members. So we have 7,700 subscribers now, and that's what's up. That's dope. But I also have the honey pot statue. So when we get to 500 members, that's going to go up. When we get to 10,000 subscribers, we have the 1/4 honey pot gentle giant statue that I'm going to be giving away. You don't have to do anything. All you have to do is give me your information and I ship it out to you. And Friday, when I do a live show, I do live shows on Friday. I give away $150 worth of free meals every show with a coin to members. So if you're a member, it's a fantastic thing. I just like giving back as much as possible because when I grew up, I had nothing. So I like to give back to everybody so they can have something.
That's dope.
Good stuff, brother. Thank you so much for being here. And C Money, brother, you got an amazing podcast. Not only do you work with your family, which again, it's an original theory, thought, and when it's on the air, it's great work. You doodle your son, your daughter. You put on a great show. Now you've moved on to interviewing actual developers. Let's talk about all of the shows people could check out, and more importantly, follow you, kind sir, on social media.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it as always, man. Good to be here, man. It's good to be back. We haven't been here for a while, so that was dope. And what a way to come back, man. We got the Gears Master himself over here rocking with us. We got the homie Crispy Bomb, and we got the King. Shit, what a way. No, guys, thank you so much. Right here, boom, Twitter.
C Money Forever. There you go.
C Money Forever. Follow me there. Our show, our channel is called On Point for Gamers. We do 4, sometimes 5 shows a week. We just redid our schedule a bit to make things better for us. So actually tonight is our 100th episode.
Oh wow, dude. Awesome.
The On Point Gaming Podcast. And what better a way to have it where literally 100 episodes ago, when we started, we didn't know that we would have a community blowout that takes place on the second week of every month. But look what happened, where it landed. Our 100th episode landed on our June community blowout. We have 7 of our community members who are going to be live with us on the panel. It's gonna be me, Doodle, Madman. We're gonna have a great show, rocking with the peoples that we got. We love you guys, so it's gonna be fire. So definitely come check us out there. Tomorrow we have the night shift. That's Friday night, 6 p.m. Where it's me, Doodle, our boy Demo Flow Gaming, and the wise one, Hargeet himself, will be there. He's there every week, so definitely come check us out for that. That's at 6 p.m. Eastern. Sundays we do Morning Quest with Dude Don't See Money, super chat heavy show. We deal with, we just hang with our homies in the chat, talk about whatever we're talking about, whatever the topic is, but it's chat heavy. We're in there, we're all a part of it. I see a lot of our homies here right now, so we appreciate you guys. So definitely come check it out, 10 o'clock Eastern time. And then on Tuesdays, looks like we're going to be having double headers every week now. So we have our interview show called Her, Him, and the Dev, where we interview devs, publishers. We had Seamus Blackley on, so previous people who were in the industry. And we do that depending on their time. It just depends. Their availability varies. We've been having a couple weeks in a row when our show was at 11 a.m. because that's the only time they can go. We have 4 o'clock is the aim for most people. So we do have a 4 o'clock tomorrow. I'm sorry, on Tuesday this week. And it's a great time. Come check us out. It's fun. And then our new show is called Night Quest. That's on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And it's a fun show. It's also a community show where we come up, go on, and then we put the link in the chat, and then people come and rock with us. Whoever's on wants to come chat, wants to come have a good time, we're there. So it's definitely a good time. So definitely come check that out. And I don't know if I mentioned it, but tonight is at 8 p.m. Eastern. So come check us out for that. And that's it, man. We appreciate you guys. Boom. Thank you, brother. You're the man.
Thank you, man. A big thank you to all of the
man.
people on the panel, all the people in the chat. I'm going to close out with obviously something that my dad taught us. I want to say a big thank you to all of the super chats that continue to come in and power the show behind the scenes. You guys are doing incredible work and allowing us to do these monster giveaways. But I do want to close out on a breaking news report. Shinobi 602 has announced that Sea of Thieves was the best-selling game on PlayStation in both the U.S. and Europe in May of 2024. So there you go.
Trojan horse.
The number one selling game on PlayStation was Xbox first party.
Hold the line, ponies.
No wonder why I got in that argument. No wonder.
We did it. We went over there and smashed them.
The Trojan horse. We got
God.
him. We got him. So there you go, folks. So close out the show with something that's
game.
fun.
Dope.
And there you go.
Dope, guys. Dope.
They like old stuff.
Enjoy. In 7 years, we'll see you with another one. You know what I'm saying?
See you with another
guys
one. There you go. So that's that. Listen, a big thank you once again to hanging out with us for nearly almost 2 hours. I'm going to close out the show with something that's incredibly important to me. Hopefully one day, folks, will be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. We'll see you next week on the newest episode of X Vlog Live.